Lots of rain and fireworks on Saturday night, but unfortunately, that did not create much momentum for the White Sox going forward. The Angels beat the White Sox 6-5 on Sunday. Are Dallas Keuchel's days numbered? The White Sox sent Dylan Cease to the hill for the series finale before heading north.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Definitely going to be previewing this Dylan Cease day and even maybe start talking just a little bit about this big White Sox Cubs series coming up. There was some life from our White Sox on Saturday, but first, too little, too late for the Sox on Sunday afternoon. How was your weekend, folks? Yeah, probably up and down because of our Sox. I had a very eventful weekend. I became a father on Friday night. My wife gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby boy, and so I spent majority of the weekend in the hospital. Gave me some downtime to watch our White Sox. A lot of pregame, a lot of post, a lot of opportunities to reflect on this team. But really an unforgettable weekend for me personally, but somewhat a forgettable weekend for our White Sox. We're going to start with Sunday, but let's stamp it here with State of the Sox. They are currently 8-13. They have lost 2 of the 3 here in this Angels series. Of course, the finale is on Monday. Sunday, Sox lost 5-6. There was a definite rally, very exciting in the 9th, but just came up a little too short. Where was that earlier in the game? Sox scored 5 runs on 12 hits. They committed 0 errors. Sox were 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They left 9 men on. It was a Dallas Keuchel Sunday, his 4th start of the year. And that's important. We'll get to that in just a second. Final line for Dallas, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 walks, 1 strikeout. He has lowered his ERA from 9 to 8.40. It was those 5 walks. It's the walks that kill Keuchel. It's the walks that kill this Sox team, frankly. No errors committed, but it's just it's tough. It's really tough for a Keuchel start. I feel like the Sox have to score just a ton of runs. But again, offense hasn't been going much at all. It was again Keuchel's 4th start this year, and what's so significant about that is, I go back to 2016, and I specifically John Danks. John Danks was a left-handed pitcher for the Sox for several years. If you're maybe a little little younger of a Sox fan, you might not remember some of the John Danks era. He, of course, was the starter in the blackout game in 2008. We signed John Danks to an extension a few years before the 2016 season. Really made a choice of John Danks instead of Mark Burley. Let Mark Burley go, and John Danks became the guy. Left-handed pitcher. He had some moments. He really did. He was a bulldog at times. But 2016, his last year in his contract, and Danks was 0-4 after 4 starts and had a 7.25 ERA. The Sox parted ways shortly after that with John Danks, and we all know the story. You've heard about it if you didn't live through it. Fernando Tatis Jr. traded away to San Diego for James Shields, and the rest is kind of history. After the season, of course, the great rebuild started. So Keuchel with a 7.25, with an 8.40 ERA. He's 1-3 after 4 starts. Not exactly the same, but kind of a similar situation in my mind. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are. I'm sure you have these conversations with other Sox fans in your life, family members. You go to the game and you're just talking about a guy like Keuchel. What did the Sox do with this guy? What's the fate of Dallas Keuchel? Do you go with Velasquez moving forward? Do you take a chance on Cueto? You saw some of the stuff that Johnny Cueto has done in Charlotte. The 0 walks that he recently gave up in his start is promising. Anybody that can throw a decent amount of innings in a game and give up 0 walks, I'm interested in. It sounds like Cueto might need another start or so. I don't know. I don't know if I have the answer. There's a lot of money that we would be losing out on, if you cut ties with Dallas. That's an expensive DFA, but it is what it is. I just don't see the Sox, being set up for success with Keuchel on the hill. And I get it. They have got to hit the ball. They've got to produce offensively, but there's just something about these Keuchel starts, the walks, the hits, leaving a lot into the zone. I'm not sure what the fate is. I sure liked what I saw with Velasquez on Saturday, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. And again, the video from what Cueto has done, the numbers from what Cueto have done are promising, but we'll see. I have a feeling that we're not going to see Dallas Keuchel pitch very much longer on this White Sox team. I don't know about you. It's up for debate. It's still kind of early, but we're now in May. We're in May. Sox are 5 games under 500, 4.5 out in the Central, and some decisions I think are going to have to be made soon. Speaking of offense, bright spot this weekend, Yoan Moncada making some rehab starts in Charlotte. He hit a home run on Sunday. He's probably going to need a few more games. You got to make sure he is 100% before returning. You just have to. You do not want to rush him back because we need the offense. I think Berger has been playing great third base defensively. He's been hot and cold with the bat. And you just don't want to rush Moncada because we want to spark with the clubhouse. We want to get him back up. He might not be 100% from both sides of the plate, and he re-injures his oblique. It's so tempting. And folks, I cannot wait until a healthy Moncada is back and a healthy Lynn, and then we could kind of really see what this team is all about. But I think, we're a little ways away. I don't think you're going to see Moncada in the Crosstown Classic. We'll wait on that, but promising so far from Charlotte. I'm going to tell you about the best part of the weekend for the Sox. More on that in a moment. Hey, BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs and the start of the Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, From live betting to playoffs, esports, and more, head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. We've been covering a few opportunities on BetOnline. There's over and under for pitchers in terms of strikeouts and wins. I've been focusing a lot on the wins for Dylan Cease. The strikeouts for Dylan Cease, the over-under is 205.5 for this 2022 regular season. Cease is going to go on Monday in the series finale. We're going to preview that a little bit later in the show, but you might want to head over to betonline.net, make yourself some money potentially, and check out that over-under on strikeouts for Dylan Cease, set at 205.5. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Now podcast, recaps of MLB games with analysis from our local experts, taking fans through the season like no other network, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So Saturday, game 2 of the series. This was the first game that my new son was alive for and was able to, I guess, be witness. So his first game, since he was born late on Friday, it was like the post game, although he was born on Friday the 29th. His first game to really watch, I guess, and be a part of, not that he was really paying that close attention, was Saturday's big game, game 2 of the series, the Southside hockey jersey giveaway, 33,000 plus in attendance for this one. Rain throughout the game. There was a stoppage in the 5th when the game was official. Sox were, of course, up at that point. It's got to be a different feeling. It just has to be, to have 33,000 in the stands, opposed to the 9,000 during a weekday day game, and it's 40 degrees, if that. So good on the fans for showing up. The weather was very unpredictable. The forecast, I'm shocked that they got the game in. Like we said, there was a stoppage. The Southside hockey jersey giveaway was a huge one, but it was a Saturday night game. And, of course, we've got those Southside Mondays at the ballpark. So if you got that Southside hockey jersey and you're heading to the game on Monday, you can obviously wear that and participate in the Southside Monday. Sox won that game 2 on Saturday. It was the highlight of the weekend. What a game. Sox won 4-0 behind Vince Velasquez. He had quite the show, and he had that offensive help. Velasquez went 5 2/3 of an inning, 4 hits, 0 runs given up, 0 walks, 6 strikeouts. His ERA is down to 4.58. What a difference, a start makes. And he was night and day from his last outing. Truly one of the best starts in April for White Sox pitching. And again, those 0 walks, good things happen when the Sox pitching limits the walks that they are giving up. It's unfortunately been a theme. The White Sox are walking far too many batters. It's just killing them. And if I'm scouting the Sox, if I am from the opposition and we are doing some recon, heading into the series before the game, I'm talking to my hitters. I'm telling my hitters just to be patient. Be patient. Take your walks, and then we'll get our hits, with some guys on, and, we'll get on the board. Sox pitching, it's just insane the amount of walks that they're giving up, and you see the direct result. And on the other hand, for the White Sox, for our White Sox, as a team, we're not walking. We are not getting on base. We are not seeing pitches. And the poor offensive results, they speak for themselves. There is a correlation there on base percentage and wins. The team at the beginning of the year, very aggressive. And we started off 6-2 with that low on base percentage, very low in baseball compared to the rest of the teams, not only in the American League, but all of Major League Baseball. And you just didn't think if you knew the numbers and you knew how things can play out, it just didn't seem sustainable, that win-loss record. And sure enough, nothing has really changed. There has still no real discipline. Guys are continuing to be aggressive. They're not seeing a lot of pitches, and it's feast or famine. Now, however, on Saturday night was the highlight of the weekend, and you loved what you saw on Saturday night. Talked about, obviously, Velasquez's outing, which was great. Against a very potent Angels offense. We saw that on Friday, which we'll talk about in a little bit. They've got some hitters, man, in this Angels lineup. Angels are a tough team. They came into the series white hot. But Saturday, our White Sox, a home run from TA in the bottom of the first, and then a 3-run bomb from Robert in the fifth. And, and that was really, kind of all of the offense. But a lot of folks heading into this season, and they talked about it last year with our 2021 White Sox, when the ball goes far, the team is going to go far. And we just haven't seen that hardly at all this year. Multiple home runs in a game have been very difficult to come by. It seems like a simple recipe, right? We've got the guys to do it, from Grandal to Abreu, Vaughn, Robert, obviously missing Jimenez, definitely missing Jimenez and his presence. And of course, have not gotten to experience Moncada. But you saw it. You saw the sample size on Saturday. Get some quality pitching. Don't give up a lot of walks. How about 0 walks? And, and flex the power. And there you go. So I'm hoping, like, you want to be able to manufacture runs. And that's been always the thing that I think White Sox fans, I know I have talked a lot about over the years. It just feels like sometimes when we have the ability to hit the long ball, that's all we rely on. It's like, well, we got to hit more home runs. We got to hit more home runs. And it just has to be a balance. How about just hitting? We just need to hit consistently, but you got to get on base. You've got to see pitches. You've got to make a pitcher work. And when we're not letting an opponent's pitcher stress out a little bit, and have to go deep into counts, or maybe tip his hand a little bit on what he might be showing later in a game, because he just needs to get out of the first or get out of the second, because we have really been working counts. When you don't do that, you're just letting the opponents off easy. You've got to see pitches. You've got to get on base, because you've got these thumpers in this lineup. And what is just so great is that 3-run home run, and have a couple singles, have a walk, and then let the boppers do their thing. And I'm hoping that starts happening sooner rather than later on a more consistent basis for these White Sox. Giolito wasn't awful in his Friday night start. And I'm going to tell you that Dylan Cease will once again be the stopper on Monday. Going to get to that in just a moment. Hey, summer is coming, and with summer, you're going to need some food on the go. Built Bars are the perfect snack to take with you on family vacations. Throw them in the bag or in your kid's backpack. Make sure that everyone has a bar so you are fueled for your summer adventures. The best part about Built Bars, they're healthy and delicious. No more sacrificing delicious food for health. With Built Bar, you can have both, and it's easy. All you have to do is go to BuiltBar.com and order now. All Built Bars and Puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate. That means that with Built Bar, you can eat healthy and actually enjoy doing it. Have you tried the Puffs yet? They come in some crazy flavors like banana cream pie and even churro. Who doesn't want a protein bar that tastes like a churro? And they're only 140 calories. If that's not enough flavor for you, then you might want to try the mixed box. The mixed box comes with 12 flavors of bars and puffs. Most Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. Go to Built.com to get all your favorites: banana cream pie, raspberry, double chocolate, and so many more. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. Check them out at built.com. Offer, go to built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. So Friday night was game one of this Angels series. It was a rough game. Sox lost 5-2 to the Angels. Just mentioned recently how hot the Angels were coming into the series. They can hit, man. They can play. They've got some pitching. Giolito, he was not horrible, but he gave up 2 home runs in the first, and it was, another night where the offense for the Sox just couldn't get anything going. The Giolito line, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, 7 strikeouts, and only 1 walk. His ERA is sitting at 2.57. I think it was another, it was a nice building effort for Giolito, still working back from that oblique situation where he had to miss a couple starts. But Friday night, that loss, I was watching this game in the hospital, and it just, we're at a point where I don't know if it's panic. It's just pressing. The Sox are pressing, maybe changing the routine, forcing things, alternating your methods, your swing, your approach on the fly to try to get, instant, different results. Perhaps, that's better than trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I mean, that's insanity, right? That's the definition of insanity. And the lack of consistent offense by our Sox has indeed been maddening. I don't know. Does something change? Does Frank Menachino, the hitting coach, do we part ways with him? I don't know. It's May 2nd. I want to say it's early, but I feel like every few days, like how further down the line in the Central, again, one of the weakest divisions in all of baseball, how far down the line are we to fall before there isn't a shakeup, just something to change things? Maybe that's too reactionary. Maybe we do, as an organization, have to stay the course, wait for a healthy Moncada to come back, wait for Lynn to come back. But the Sox are 8-13, 4.5 games back in the division. I don't know. If not, when? I think that's the question we are all asking ourselves as Sox fans. But it's Dylan Cease Day. He goes on Monday afternoon against Sandoval. Cease was the stopper last time for the Sox, and I have another good feeling about Cease on Monday. Dylan has a record of 2-1 with an ERA of 3.27. 28 strikeouts in 4 appearances this season. Going against Patrick Sandoval for the Angels. He's a lefty, which could be a good sign for production from the Sox offense. However, Patrick Sandoval has a record of 1-0 with an ERA of 0.00 and 20 strikeouts in 3 appearances this season. So Sox hitters will have their work cut out for them. Hope to see Vaughn back in the lineup. That will be very helpful. Really appreciate you making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast everywhere you find podcasts. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up on the next episode, I'm going to break down the finale of the Angels series, and I am going to get you ready for another edition of the Crosstown Classic as the Sox head up north to face the Cubs for a 2-game series starting on Tuesday. Really appreciate you making Locked On White Sox your first listen. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.